might probably be wondering as to what a 13-year-old is doing in a platform like Josh Talk. Hey guys, I'm Hasini Lakshmi Narayanan. I'm 13 years old, currently pursuing my 9th grade in Chettinad Vidyashram in Chennai. And also you might be wondering as to what cool this 13-year-old have done to be on a platform like Josh. Well, the reason is pretty much that I have a lot to say. And let's say that you might have something to take back home by the end of the talk. So just to give a little bit of credentials as to what I'm currently doing. I am a social entrepreneur. I run an organization called The First Step where we work towards youth empowerment. I represent the government of Tamil Nadu as a young nutritional ambassador, spreading awareness about taboo topics. As well as I'm a writer for The Hindu and an author of a book which contains the foreword of the Honorable Vice President of India, Sri Venkaiah Naidu sir, as well as the DGP of Tamil Nadu, Sailendra Babu sir, and many other personalities who are very much successful in the industry today. In short, I just love interacting with people and creating a social awareness. I had typical Indian parents, let's say. Parents who pretty much enroll their child into typically every single class. But then this habit which I've had is that I used to quit this, every single class. Whenever I get bored, I hook up on to the next class and then I just moved on, traveling along with my dad. So my dad is an entrepreneur as well as an author himself. So his work, basically deals with schools providing life skill counseling to school students. So it was pretty much like hosting seminars and sessions in schools and colleges. So I love traveling with him, meeting new people and interacting with him. There is this turning point in all of our lives where we realize this single fact, which might be one of the important learnings in our life, which we carry out till the end. And my turning point was when I was 9 years old. I was in 4th grade. Again, I was in an event in Maharishi Vidya Mandir. I still remember this day. The chief guest for the day was Sujit sir, who is the founder of Matram Foundation. And obviously, as his chief guest, he addressed the gathering. I was sitting in the last row. One very bad habit which I regret having, I never really had this listening skill. Especially, I never listened to people when they were talking. So I was sitting in the last row, talking to people. Just with no seconds, he grabbed my attention. I remember I ran up to the first row, sat down there and listened to the entire talk. After listening to it, the immediate action which I took was to go up to my dad and told him that I just want to be like him one day. Started looking up to him, listening to his talk. A person who can inspire people, just be it with a 2-minute talk. So that's the personality exactly as to what I wanted to be, a very good public speaker. So since then, obviously, I started taking public speaking very seriously. I, started enrolling in every possible competition which was related to literature, be it writing or, even speaking as well. And few years passed, lockdown occurred, the pandemic. It has been a point where we've all learned a lot. We've lost many people. We've experimented on new stuff which we are not used to before. But for me, again, it was a turning point where I got to figure out what my true happiness was and just started pursuing my dreams, let's say. So my journey started out of boredom and being it locked down, I just had this option to face this 4 walls, sit in one particular room. And like any other person, the only option I had was to Netflix and chill. So I obviously did that. And after a week, I was like, no, I have to stop this and do something productive because I figured out that I had so much time. Why just waste it instead of learning something new? Again, I went up to my dad, asked him if I can do something for him or, do some random work which I can learn a lot from, because I loved experimenting on new things and just learning a lot indeed. So he came up with this concept, interviewing children for Father's Day. We interviewed children, we presented to their fathers on Father's Day as a virtual surprise. I really just loved interviewing people, and in this process I just figured out that I want to continue this art form and get to know more about it and just experiment on this field. We just gathered all of these ideas and put it up together. Me wanting to be an inspiration for so long, wanting to create a social awareness about youth empowerment, and me really liking to interact with more new people and getting to know about them and their stories. We came up with one concept: interviewing young achievers. That's basically interviewing children who've achieved at a young age. That's how it all started on my birthday, July 20th on 2020. It's about 2 years now, and since then, I can say that I've made quite good progress and have learned a lot. As I mentioned, I've always had this habit of, quitting stuff, moving on to the next thing, and then again quitting. So I was being branded as this kid. There's this say, right? Jack of all and master of nothing. So I was typically the same, as I couldn't pursue one particular thing. And obviously, when I figured out that YouTubing was my true happiness, I did get constructive criticism, not from the audience, who are new to me, but then my very own world, my family, my friends, my peers started criticizing that I would probably quit YouTube in about 2 to 3 months or so. And if there is one thing which I've learned from the people whom I've looked up to, is that their consistent performance towards their job. So again, I wanted to perform that and stay consistent. It's been about 2 years, and if there is something which I'm known for is my consistent progress, I would like to talk about it in as well. I've done about 100 plus interviews so far, written about close to around 50 plus articles for the Hindu, and I've done various sessions and seminars in schools, colleges and forums, addressed a lot of gatherings in as well. I create awareness about youth empowerment. I've done 3 TEDs so far, and glad to be here on Josh. Being a social influencer, obviously constructive criticism is a phase all YouTubers go through, and the same was in my case in as well. But for me, it was the other way around. Rather, from people whom I didn't know, I had criticism from people who were around my circle, be it my family, my friends, my peer group. All of us have the same neurology. If it is possible for others, it's possible for me. Looking up to these 100 people whom I've interviewed, I just became one among them, I believe. And if I can do it, I believe you all can do it. And if you can do it, all other people in the world can.
Tell us what you think about this video, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.
Josh Talks is now a Spotify exclusive podcast. The audio version of our talks will be available only on Spotify. If you like this video and you like to listen to more inspiring stories like this, please follow the Josh Talks podcast only on Spotify.